Welcome, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of SW Golf Academy, coming to you from the club at Mediterra, Naples, Florida. Today's subject, really one that a lot of people like to tackle: how to hit your driver from the inside. Well, very briefly, if you're new to the channel, or perhaps you've watched the videos quite a bit before but have never subscribed, would love it if you'd go ahead and subscribe now. Helps us build some momentum. We want to keep bringing you free content to help you golf. Also hit the little bell there. You'll be notified every time a new video is coming your way. Okay. All right, there's a decent drive for me. Let's say that's the target line. These terms, hit from the inside, before we get into it, they confuse a lot of people. It's super simple. What does it mean to hit from the inside? If that's the target line, as the golfer, I'm standing what's called on the inside of it. Over there where the tee marker is the outside of it. So all we're saying is the club swings from the side of the golf ball that I'm on, from the inside back to the ball. That would be from the outside. All right, let's have a look at a couple of great players. Let's see if we can kind of flesh this thing out. Charles Howell III there, prodigious long hitter of the ball, great ball striker. That's him in his, on the right, that's him in the early days on tour when he used to work with David Leadbetter. Got to be around him a certain amount. No joke, my 3-wood on a good hit flies about like his 4 or 5 on. That's to be sure. So let's have a look at how Charles does it. No question about it, that club's coming nicely from the inside. Let's give it one more frame there. And when the club is over here more, when it's coming from the inside, it keeps it further from the golf ball. That's reason number one why we want to swing for the inside. Most people are much more over here, much steeper, club is nearer to the ball. You want that club to have whip at the last second, and the longer you can keep it back behind you from the inside, keep it away from the ball, the more whip you are going to get when you need it. Number two reason to get it from the inside: when it is from the inside, it's almost synonymous to say it'll be closer to your body. People that come over the top, the club gets much further out here. And when the club's closer to you, there is less resistance to rotational speed. Law of physics called moment of inertia states that if that's your center axis, the more there's weight, arms club for instance, out away from the center, the more resistance to rotational speed. So again, you want it from the inside. You want that club close to you longer so that you can really whip around here efficiently. I have a free 3-part in-depth video course on how to gain massive yardage down in the description box. Hope you'll go pick that up. Okay, let's get into these two then. So we know we want the club further here, so it's further from the ball. We know when the club's nearer to us, which there's a relationship between these two, it's easier to move with speed. How do we do it? Listen, people come up with I think, let me put it this way, I think it's very unnatural and doesn't bring out the best instincts in people to go with something that's too much of a formula. Stick your arm in your side, you know, do this with your hips or aim your shoulders over here. Sometimes they may help. I don't find when I teach people day in, day out that sort of stuff helps much. Take something like an alignment rod. Again, I'm using an impact bag. You don't have to have one. I like these though. Take something light like a rod. Use your trail arm. If you're really a dominant left-handed person playing right-handed, you could do it with your lead arm, or of course flip it if you're left-handed. Take this thing and you just see, if you had to smack that bag on that angle, how relatively easy that is for you to do. If you've skipped rocks before in your life, get a golf ball. Most people have. You would see the kind of motion that would relate. Do that on the driving range, the kind of motion that relates to this. It isn't that difficult. Take the rod, do it this way, do it this way, and just kind of find your way into the middle. Again, the thing you're looking for is snap, whip from over here at the side of the body. Teaching people all day, I know I've referenced that a moment ago, kind of get to see how people go about this and what pitfalls they have. Let's look from this angle and we'll kind of get into that. All right, I've got my feel here. Let me try a shot. We'll talk about possible pitfalls here. Let me get a little rehearsal. Reasonable shot. Now listen, we just were at this hitting the bag. It doesn't take that much energy from your body to create some whip. You've got to initiate, it's got to be dynamic, but it doesn't take that much energy. I watch people, I give golf lessons all day, way more common is this. People get to the top, their instincts to hit the ball and to create some speed, they just thrust too hard with their arms and shoulders. This whole upper segment of the body thrusts like that. When you do that, you'll actually dissipate power. It feels like you're swinging harder, and not only will you dissipate power, you will actually influence the club to get steeper. So bear in mind, how much energy did it take to whip that thing? Not a lot of overall movement as I start down there. Dynamic for sure, but not a lot of overall movement. Grab a golf ball and just skip it down the range. See what that feels like to you in terms of energy. Now, before we move to point number three as to why it's so important to swing from the inside, there is a very critical variable here that will trip you up if you don't get it right. So let's have a close-up look at that, and then we'll move on to number three. Okay, that critical thing you've got to get right, club face angle. You've got to get it reasonably right. Listen, if you've been cutting across the ball for a while, undoubtedly you've been leaving the club face open, otherwise you couldn't keep the ball on the course. You get used to leaving the club face open and suddenly start swinging more from the inside. If you're not good at squaring it, you're going to hit the ball way right. It's too painful to keep doing. Emotionally, I'm telling you, as a golfer, you see that ball flare way offline, you're going to fight it. And most people do it the wrong way. What they do to fight the club face is they turn everything trying to close it. That's not what we want. Here's what we want. We want to hold the club up in front of you. If you're by a computer or you've got a club handy, just turn the face towards the ground. That is a closed club face. That's so much of the reason you see these knuckles of these great players down here. Most people, when they release it, you see this scoop look like that. That closes the face. You don't need a jailbreak of everything to shut the face. You've got to get good at that. I've opened the tab of my glove and just in that little hole there put a T that sticks out. You can see that. All you have to do is be able to do that. Now your grip affects it certainly. You could get a stronger grip and it makes it easier to do that, but you've got to be able to turn that. It's not that difficult. So grab a club, get good at that, and as you start to mix in these little side saddle whipping swings, start to get the feeling for as you come in, that face is a lot more like so. And when you do that, when you can start to get that, you're starting to get the correct combination. Again, remember, it doesn't take all of that to close the face, it takes that. Critical once you start swinging from the inside. Okay, let's try this once, then we'll move to reason number three. What I'm going to try is a fairly small swing, and I'm going to try to really snap that face down there, hopefully get a duck hook. I'm going over the corner if it was a normal shot, if it was a decent normal shot, but I might duck hook this one in the lake for your viewing pleasure. So I'm going to get this nice and shallow, practice my closed feeling. That ball had more snap hook on it, hit the water about 75 yards away. That is a good thing when you get on the range. Mix and match it a little bit, get the feel for that. Give you great confidence to swing from the inside if you're good at closing the face. Okay, number three. What is our third compelling reason why it's so important to get that driver coming from the inside? It is because you will hit your driver further and more solidly if you hit it with more of a level to upward hit and less of a downward hit. You start hitting down on the driver, even if you hit it solidly, which isn't easy, you will lose a lot of distance. So let me just show you a principle. Myself a little towel here. Put your right hand out there, you don't have to kneel on the ground. This is down, this is pure down, this is pure up. So the more you swing from in here, the more rising your club will be. And the more you swing from out here, the more descending it will be. It's just plain, simple geometry in golf, and you want that club more on the rise when you hit the driver. You've got the ball up on a tee. So again, compelling. You will drive it so much better if you can hang in there and work on these things. Listen, if you liked this video, and I hope you did, please give us a thumbs up. Helps us build some momentum. Love to bring you more free content here on the channel, hopefully help you with your golf as you go forward. So would love it if you do that. Camp out on these three things. And again, if you start hitting that driver from the inside, you are going to hit the ball a lot better, especially if you're good at squaring the club face up.